Hey, what is up everyone? My name is Guillaume. Welcome to Thommann's Guitars and Basses. And to today's video, for which I'm really excited, I have Emilio here from Cornerstone.
Hello everybody, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming back all the way from beautiful Italy into our little studio here to talk through some of your creations. Right there we have on the floor. We have some phase 2, we have some phase 3. We might get a little bit of a taste of what's coming later as well, but let's start with the Gladio, the staple on the board. And I'm really curious to know, to learn what your stance is as a designer, where does the pedal come from, and where did it take you? Because the Gladio just is...
It's the main pillar of all the sound from Cornerstone, actually.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, the Gladio started in 2020, 2020, actually. I took inspiration from Robin Ford Dumble sound.
Yeah.
So not a specific Dumble. I took inspiration from Robin Ford, Cannonball Shuffle in particular, and I just wanted to make this pedal as much as dynamic and amp-like as possible. This pedal represent the type of overdrive sound that I always have in my mind when I always think about an overdrive that can be used 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So it's like a Swiss knife. You can basically put it like wherever, wherever you want, in any gear, stacked with any other pedal. It's perfect. I mean, for me, it's just
it is perfect. Everyone needs one. Period.
It's very respectful of the clean sound of the old guitar, especially because of the clean
blend,
the clean knob right here, which is adding the clean sound on top of the overdrive.
Yeah. When you design something like this, so you have a sound in mind. It's not based on a particular amp unit, as you've mentioned, but like, what's the testing process for you? Did you try that into a bunch of different amps or into a bunch of different, pedal stacks and that sort of thing? Like, what was that process for you?
Yeah, I have a bunch of different amps. Not all of the amps in this world, but I have a bunch of different amps, like a vintage 1968 Fender Bassman.
Yeah.
I have the Victory V40 Deluxe. I have a Two-Rock, and a Vox AC30. Obviously, whenever I design a new pedal, I always try the new pedal across different platforms.
Yeah.
But it's in this particular thing, it comes the real magic of the designer, because I have already a sound in my head before I make a pedal. So I just try to make it sound as I am imagining it.
Yeah.
All right. I kind of like set the Gladio with a tone knob a little bit less noon, because I kind of like warmer type of sounds, and the clean up around 2 o'clock. When you put the clean at that level, you get more clean sound on top of the overdrive. So since the clean sound is by definition non-compressed and non-filtered, the bottom end also increases and the roundness of the sound just increases. And I kind of like the gain to keep the gain like at noon. And then from here you can do, I mean, pretty much whatever you like. Then we can also talk about the Colosseum, maybe.
Yes.
This is a special version.
Yes.
For European customers with the black version. It's my take on the Bluesbreaker and the Klon. I always said I didn't want to make this.
That's true. Yeah, I do remember that.
It's the community of our followers that just we took some polls and
come on,
and asking people, okay, what do you guys want us to make? And they voted and they choose something new, like Bluesbreaker and a Klon in one pedal. And I decided only if I could do something new, something at least, my original. I would say.
Yeah.
So I experimented a little bit with the Bluesbreaker and with the reissue of the Marshall.
Yeah.
I have one.
Yeah.
And I figured out that there was quite a big problem in it, in my opinion. If you put the 3 controls of the original Bluesbreaker all at noon, you have no volume.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Not loud enough.
That's true.
So I decided to remove all the clipping diodes. I replaced the op-amp, and also I added the same clean that is present on the Gladio here on the Bluesbreaker side. The result is pretty interesting. You can feel it's based on a Bluesbreaker, but it's just different. It feels different.
It's the same. It's the same as the clean. It's like still how underestimated that type of control is. Like the amount of low end that it just brings in.
It adds a lot of bottom end because I mean it's not artificial.
No.
It's the sound of the guitar. Because it's not adding any kind of frequency. It's not boosting anything. It's just taking the clean and putting on top of the overdrive. I think it's necessary because if you love this guitar, it's your sound, it's your guitar, so you need to find the sound of your guitar in the pedal, in the final end result.
I've always meant to ask you, and I never have, why did you put the Bluesbreaker on the right side of the pedal? Is there any specific reason? Is it because you tend to use it in front?
It's probably because I kind of prefer to think about the Klon as the boosting type of pedal, and I like to put it after every other drive. Even because the Klon, the way it is designed, is not just working at 9 volt. Yeah, you supply the pedal with 9 volts. But internally, the Klon is working. A part of the circuit is working at 9. Another part is working at 18, and another part is working at even more than 18. So it does have a particular magic about headroom. So it does have a lot of headroom. More than any other overdrive that I have. So I just prefer to keep it that last.
But that's super interesting because like and I'm sure I'm not going to be the only one to put the Klon in front of a lot of other overdrives just to boost into them because of that quality of the pedal. Even if I use the gain in the Klon side, because I do want to hear that grit. I do want to hear that specific clipping, but I'll put it usually in front. So it's always like interesting that I see, okay, it's on the left side of the pedal. I know I have a switch. I know I have the control, but it's still like it tells me that okay, maybe the guy who's behind that specific pedal.
I thought about that because all the other overdrives can be expressed better when they are going into a bigger headroom pedal, which is the Klon. By the way, talking about the Klon, let's hear the difference in clipping.
Yeah,
going from the classic germanium to a pair of silicone that I choose.
Nice.
And you can actually mix the two. So the thing with the germanium diodes have less headroom, a little less headroom, and they are more mid-focused. While the silicons are less mid-focused, a little bit more bottom end, more wider, and there's also more volume because they have a wider headroom. The cool thing is when you pair the two sides. If you do the opposite, so if you put the Klon into Bluesbreaker, another interesting thing happens because what you will hear is Klon into BB plus a little bit of Klon, which is taken by the clean and put it on top.
It's a completely different sound.
Yeah, it's a very different sound.
It's the harmonic richness of it. It's just coming through differently. Like that A was just screaming. It was immediately like so high pitched with the Klon after. But right now it's just it's pushing completely different frequencies.
Very interesting, actually. Now we are just hearing like this. We're just hearing Klon into BB alone. But the moment when you raise the clean, it's actually the Klon on top.
That's bringing all that that space. Like. It's so cool. It's awesome. I saw like, a lot of, I think a lot of players still, again, underestimate the what you can do with that clean setting.
I'm really happy of how it turned out.
For a pedal you didn't want to make, it's pretty good. But that led you and that led Cornerstone into
the new phase 3.
The new phase 3,
that started this year in 2024.
Yeah.
And it started with a pedal that I've got so many requests for over the years, a Fuzz pedal.
Yeah.
And I've never made one because there are so many Fuzz pedals on the market that I've always thought, okay, if I make a Fuzz, that should be very special. I mean, that should be different. I wanted to address all of the most common problems, most common issues that a lot of people have with Fuzzes. People like me, actually, I love Fuzzes, but I've never used one. I feel that I have very little control on the gain, on the dynamic, on the fact that you most often have to crank the gain of the Fuzz and then control with the guitar volume knob.
That's true.
I don't really like to do that way.
Yeah. A lot of the vintage Fuzzes and Fuzz pedals, like, you have to play the pedal. You have to play with what the pedal gives you instead of like being able to tailor that pedal to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so it forces you to play differently, go different places. It's interesting in its own respect, and obviously it's the classic sounds. If you want a Fuzz face, get a Fuzz face.
Absolutely.
And
there are so many.
Thing. But I think what you did by trying to address those issues and is making something that is just, it doesn't have a bad sound in it. You made a Fuzz that is so non-problematic.
Very polite.
Yeah, it's polite brutality. It is still a Fuzz. It's still got the violence, and it's got the
yeah,
but
there is a reason for this, because when I started designing this pedal, I thought, okay, I like clean amps. My Fender Basement, I like clean amp. I don't really like to use overdriven amps. But a Fuzz sound better with overdriven amps. So what should I do now? Yeah. I thought that many pro players use Fuzz in conjunction with another overdrive. Yeah. So I decided, okay, what about making my own Fuzz followed by a Gladio SC? And then the Nero is a Fuzz, my own Fuzz circuit, followed by an entire Gladio SC built in. And that is the reason why it is so polite.
Yeah, it's just already going into that little bit of compression, a little bit of EQing, a little bit of everything, and and you can put that Fuzz into any a completely clean amp, and it's going to sound massive and not take your head off.
No, exactly. And there is still the same thing about the clean happening in here. It's just not called clean anymore because there is a Fuzz in front.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the comp control. The comp is exactly the clean of the Gladio SC reversed.
There's not a bad frequency.
No, it's very round. You can really have fun with
and you can take it anywhere. It doesn't collapse completely in the low, and it doesn't take your head off if you go like.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I know that many people could say, yeah, this is more like an overdrive than a Fuzz. There is no a black and white. I think there is a shade of gray in which I like to move. Yeah, now could sound more like an overdrive, or now could sound more like a Fuzz, a classic one. the new version of the Antique is nothing less. I mean, it's exactly the same philosophy. Taking what it was my inspiration that I got for the Tube Screamer on the previous version of the Antique, but with some more extra versatility that I called a hot mode. So I wanted to, well, the design, I want to take inspiration from the Italian vintage Vespa and Italian cars and everything.
So cool. And that mint green pastel color, just like
it's a real Vespa. I love it. When I see it, I thought, yeah, this is it.
It's awesome.
This is the Vespa. But when I was designing it, I thought, okay, what about making it more versatile? I can add a boost, but there are tons of screamers with a boost, and a lot of them with the toggle switch to choose if you want before or after, you know. And then I thought, what about adding both, before and after, at the same time? So you don't have to choose if you want the boost before or after. You can have the two at the same time and independent. So you can have a gain boost or a volume boost. So yeah, I designed the Antique this way. So this is the normal Antique, which is controlled with the 4 main knobs here, the normal channel. And then we have the hot mode. When you click on the hot mode, the hammers turn red, first of all.
Cool.
And the hot gain here is adding gain on top of the normal gain. And the hot volume here is actually replacing the normal volume.
Okay, so it's extra gain and different volume.
And a different volume. So it's almost like having another master volume.
Yeah. So that can be your solo sound without having to readjust for any other outputs. Yeah. Okay.
If you want more volume, or if you want more gain. Or maybe, so you can get this sound as a more heavy rhythmic or something, or a basic sound, which is more quiet. Or the two, maybe you just want to have a normal channel and a hot mode and a hot channel with 2 different levels of gain, but the same volume. You can do this. So this is the normal. More gain, but less, but exactly the same volume. Which is, I mean, it's kind of paradoxical. It's kind of unusual because we are always used to, when you hear more gain, you expect more volume. But it doesn't necessarily mean that all the time should be like this. Now, what you would normally do with a pedal with a boost is to
turn on the pedal,
turn back to the normal. You will press this again. But if you do, you switch off the pedal. Because it's almost like having 2 channels. This is the normal channel and this is the hot channel. So if it's bypass and you want to turn it on directly in the hot mode, you simply press the hot mode.
No, it's perfect. It's like, I think I really wanted to talk about the switching on all of these, like even what you started doing with the Colosseum and the Imperium before that, with the way it was turning on. You could turn on both sides at the same time and one side. Like it makes such a massive difference for every player out there who doesn't want to bother with a pedal switcher and all that, but still go from a sound to another sound without having to click 3 times.
Especially this one, the Colosseum. You can get both sides on at the same time, just press and hold.
That's it.
Or switch it off switch them off at the same time by pressing and hold, or you can flip-flop by pressing and hold each one of the either one. So you press and hold, and you do this.
It's so smart. Like, this is outside of the sound, which is, you know, obviously the most important thing, and then there's design. They look good. Like, the functionality of them is also, it's beyond
versatility.
Yeah, it's
the name.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming by and explaining to me what the cleanup does and what the like. I'm really looking forward to see what you guys are coming up with next. I know you have some more releases coming down later this year, so I'm looking forward to having you in the studio.
The next one, I can say the next one will not be a drive.
It will not be a drive.
It will not be a drive. Enough drive for now.
We've got how much more drive can you possibly want? If you already stack all of these, you're good. You should be fine. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you very much.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check out the link in the description and the link on your screen to all these pedals and everything we've used today. And take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.